Join us in the store at 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue, right behind Best Buy.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA. Ocala!
Thank you for tuning in. 6 minutes after 10 o'clock, beautiful Thursday morning. I hope you're doing well. Robin, my dad said something to me that I remember every day. I was going to say every now and then, but I think it's every day. The thing he said to me is keep your nose clean. Keep your nose clean. Now, I think when I was a kid, I thought he meant to keep my nose clean, and so I really tried hard, and it never looked dirty, so I felt good about it. Then as I got older, I realized he really meant more than my nose. He meant, stay out of trouble. And when I became a guy who was interested in you ladies, then suddenly I had this new meaning for keeping my nose clean. It meant, treat women with respect and don't do anything you shouldn't do, and so that's what happens when you're the son. When you're the daughter, I have no idea what goes on.
It's hard.
But our next guest would know, as you would, Robin, what it's like to be a daughter. And, my mom gave me many wise things as well as my dad. So both parents obviously gave me great information. Our next guest got some good information, and she's passing it on. Her name is Becky Blades. And I don't know if these bits of information come from her mom or maybe just from Becky herself, but these are really wonderful. This is a delightful book to look through, to read. It is just jam-packed full of really great, succinct, is that the word I want? Mm-hmm. Wisdom. Becky Blades is a philosopher. Well, that's no secret. Now that I've read the book, she is creative. That's also not a secret. And she is a business strategist, it says here. Of course, I don't know, I could tell that from this book. The book is called Do Your Laundry, or You'll Die Alone. Yeah. Advice your mom would give if she thought you were listening.
Yeah.
Good morning, Becky Blades. Good morning, Becky.
Good morning, Larry. Keep your nose clean.
Keep my nose clean. I know. Where are you right now?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri, where we just are starting to get some spring here, so I'm happy.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. Did you grow up there?
I did. We're from Kansas City. I married a Southern guy, so he's had some good manners coming in the door, but pretty much we're Midwestern folks.
See, this is the thing. A Southern guy had automatically, a Southern guy has good manners. Us us guys from New York, you're all a bunch of rude.
That's right. You're rude. Callous, crass.
I need to do my laundry, by the way. I was just thinking about this morning. I live alone, so maybe that explains everything.
Well, if you have it all in one basket, you're doing better than my kids were. It's the problem when you don't know when you're going to do it, you don't know when you did it last, and you don't know where your favorite jeans are.
Well, I know where they are. They're all on the floor. I know where they are. I love the things you've written in the book, and so many of them hit home. Gosh, I don't even know where to start with this. But how did the book start? Tell me the origins of the book itself.
It was a letter that I wrote to my daughter her freshman year of college, but it started as a journal a year earlier when I realized on her, somewhere in her senior year of high school, that she didn't know everything, and she was about to go into the world, and this was not my best work. She was a smart girl. I'd kind of given her a pass on a lot of things like we do in this generation because our kids are so busy. I'd say, I'll do your laundry. Go on, But then when I realized she has TikTok, several months only left before she has to do this on her own. And if she doesn't know this, what else doesn't she know? And when I tried to tell her, of course, the ship has sailed by 17 years old. They've got their face in those devices and listening to 1,000 of their closest friends. So it was my own kind of make-up homework. It may not have been about what she needed to know, but it was about what I needed to tell her.
Oh, really? And did you need to hear your own words?
Sometimes I did. I'm kind of a driven person, and so some of those things I realized that I'd given my kids a lot of success talk, but I hadn't told them to, everything's going to be okay, or hadn't told them to, just check out every now and then. I hadn't told them to breathe.
And don't take things so seriously and things like that. Did you ever teach your children, or did you ever learn don't trust anybody. My dad would always say, don't trust anybody.
Now, I'd really like to meet your dad. He sounds great. Well, there is a point in the book that says no matter how much you love and trust a partner, stay in control of your body and your money and your peace of mind. And I think that's better than not trusting anybody, because not trusting that's a terrible way to live.
Well, you say hide your chocolate. I'm guessing that means from your husband.
That's right.
I'm guessing you might trust him with some things, but you don't trust him with your chocolate.
No.
See?
See that? You touch on forgiveness in the book, and that's one of the hard things to deal with in life.
Yeah, it just says forgive quickly. And this is one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I'm a terrible grudge holder. But when we realize at some age that holding grudges doesn't hurt the person that you're mad at, it just hurts you. It's this thing you carry around with you. So I try to make that one funny and just say, there's a forgiveness-resistant gobble monster that starts living in you and eating all your favorite cereal. So, just go ahead and forgive quickly.
Do you talk about religion in the book at all?
All I say is know God, and that that in itself could be controversial. But,
Yeah.
I think that's my belief system, and our family's gone through some religious exploration. So my girls, that's enough. It's just a reminder in there between, wash off your makeup before you go to bed, and get a cute umbrella.
Well, we have all kinds of crazy stories from religion, and then all kinds of great stories from people who are religious. And one thing I would hate, and I wouldn't want my son, for example, to join a cult. I'd be the guy. I'd be the George C. Scott guy waiting outside with a gun.
Yeah.
If that ever happened to my son, and he was like walking around in a white sheet, following some Jim Jones kind of a guy, I would run in there. I'd shave my head and be one of them.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not really one of them. Come on, let's get out of here.
That's right.
Well, that stuff like that, it kind of needs to be wrapped up in other stuff, because if you said to your kid, don't join a cult, what are they going to? They're going to roll their eyes, and they're, of course, that's not something you intend to do. But, there's something in there that says don't give a kidney to somebody you met at 2 a.m. in a bar.
Right. And that's one of your points, too, in the book. You're very funny, by the way. You're a funny writer as well. So.
This book, this writings must have been good therapy for you, because you didn't even start out to have this as a book. You just were, just wanted to give some advice to your daughter as she went out on her own.
Yeah. So I started, as I covered those topics and I thought about it, and I don't know about you, I'm a journaler, and so I work some stuff out just writing about them, and thinking about, gosh, have I ever talked to her about this? Well, what would I say to her about that? And think about the fact that my older daughter was very driven and a very straight-laced girl, and she needed to have more fun. Now, my second, for whom I finished this year, she's a senior in high school, was the opposite. She has no problems having fun. She's very social. So I had to cover both ends of the spectrum. So just thinking about them, it was very therapeutic. One thing I learned about empty nesting is it's harder on the parents if they feel their kids aren't prepared. We got to let them go anyway, right? You can't keep your...
That's true, unfortunately, yeah. The one thing that was always difficult was the sex stuff. And obviously sons would be different than daughters if you were giving advice from a parent's point of view. So was that hard for you to write in the book? And I don't mean necessarily sex in the truest definition of the word, but I mean like relationship with the opposite sex, relationship issues.
I treat that very lightly, because that's where, parents aren't supposed to go. And they don't listen, and in fact, sometimes they do the opposite. So I said a few things like, the way to know the quality of a man is how he treats a waiter in a restaurant. The way to, or his, somebody said his pet. I said about birth control, for example, all I said is birth control fails 1% of the time. That, to me, that packs a lot.
That does, yeah, it does.
Don't judge other people. People can come up pregnant, and they are not bad or stupid people. It happens, and there's really only one way for it not to happen. But, now you can find anything on Google. If they want to drill down and say, ooh, 1%, what? Maybe I can do better. They can Google it. They don't need to talk to their parents anymore. And I think that was one of the impetuses to make this into a book, is that we get information, we get pure raw information on the internet. You and I couldn't get that. We had to call our mom to learn how to boil an egg. Mm-hmm. But today we can get information, but we can't get it sorted, in a loving voice. And I hope this book has a loving voice to say, from somebody who cares about you, pick up your clothes and don't put a wet towel over your laundry, because then you can't wear it tomorrow when you don't do your laundry.
Right.
Yeah, right. No, that's one. I love the way you said that, and in fact, you've accomplished that. The book has a loving air about it. Is that the word? Air? It has a loving feeling to it. You've done a great job with that. The choice of fonts, the choice of artwork in the book. It does have that feeling.
Did you create the artwork after you wrote your passages, or did you have already existing artwork that you married to your passages?
That's a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that. This was all artwork that I already had, and one of my philosophies, and I love that you called me a philosopher, I just put that in there, is that we should start what we want to start in our lives. And I've started a lot of artwork, and I've sold some, and I've left some unfinished. And one of the things I decided about this book project, because I didn't have a lot of time, and my daughter really encouraged me to do it, I decided I would take all of the scraps of things that I had done, and to kind of not do anything new, except the writing was, as you know, it had to be really, you have to edit and throw a lot of things out when you write a book, but the artwork was just stuff that I had done. Some of the art is very, very large scale, so the little paintings in the book, you can imagine being very large wall-sized paintings. But it was all fun stuff I had on my computer.
Oh, wow. This is just a fun book to look through. There was one in here about giving, and I'm looking for it because it just struck a chord with me. The way to be happy is to... do you remember what it is exactly?
The way to get more happiness is to give more away.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I just love that one because I believe it's true. Robin and I have came to this conclusion some time ago that when your joy comes from giving, you can't be disappointed because you're the one in control of what goes out.
Right. And that's right next to one that says the way to glow is to put the spotlight on someone else.
Yes, that's the one. That's the real one I wanted to find. Oh, wow, exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly true. And in doing a radio show like this, that happens for us a lot. And
you do, yeah.
And so we get that reciprocated thing, I guess you would say. We help somebody else have a spotlight, and somehow we feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, because there's nothing more unattractive than somebody saying, look at me, no spotlight here, no spotlight here.
Right.
I spent most of my career, I had a public relations firm for 13 years, and I'm not particularly comfortable in the spotlight. But my two kids are performers, and so that's kind of strange. This is the first time I've ever done radio interviews myself, but I've pushed many other people into them.
Oh, really?
But my kids don't need to hear that. We raise our kids and say, "Oh, Johnny, get on the stage. Do your horrible little tap dance," and then they come out performers and confident. But then it's kind of all about their show, and I felt like for my girls, I wondered if they really knew how to, that it feels just as great to put somebody else in the spotlight.
There's a song that Olivia Newton-John did. Have You Never Been Mellow? Is that the name of the song?
Mm-hmm.
And in the I think and in the song she says, I don't think she wrote it, but that's who I'm hearing in my head singing it. And she goes, "Have you ever let someone else be strong?" I always love that line.
Yeah.
You know, asking the question is basically saying, why don't you try that? Why don't you try letting somebody else be strong for a change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think all our kids can hear that, and then they need to hear it later when they. And that's the thing about parental wisdom. Just like keep your nose clean.
Yeah.
Back, since he said it so many times, you're going to remember it when the chips are down. You're going to hear his voice saying, "Oops, I'm in the, my nose is
my nose is not clean now." Yeah.
Another thing that you demonstrate in your book is that you have to be a parent first. You have to be the guide to your children growing up, and then once your children are on their own, you have a sort of, you're still the parent, but you go into a different kind of relationship as a friend.
Yeah, and I haven't. I think I'm there. My daughter's just 21, but that's the promise. That
Yes.
I've heard. You're exactly right. Though this was my exercise in saying, would I say it that way to a girlfriend? So the snarky. I love that you feel that it sounds loving, but I put a little snark in there and humor.
I like that.
Because it's kind of like, just don't roll your eyes, Missy. I'm still your mom.
That's right.
We wouldn't treat our mom, even I treat my mom with utmost respect at this age. So,
one number 76 in the book. By the way, if you're just tuning in, the book is called "Do Your Laundry or You'll Die Alone." Our guest is Becky Blades. She wrote the book. She's in Kansas right now, calling in. And one of the things, number 76, is plan a trip to Paris.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. We've been lucky enough to go to Paris a few times in our lives, and just the planning of it is an exercise. It's an intellectual exercise. So I just tell, this could be anywhere, but I just had to write that. Outing your inner French girl. If you're going to do web surfing, plan a trip, plan a fantasy, learn something. But that's for a girl. Paris is the ultimate destination.
Can moms who are only the moms of boys, can they benefit from this, or should they just try to write their own?
That's a good question. I've had moms tell me that their husband or their son picked it up, and we're kind of belly laughing. But it's pretty. There are, I want to say, maybe 5 entries in it that are really specific to girls. But I have, in this journey in the past few months of promoting it and getting it published, I actually have found a mom of 4 boys who's helping me write the boy version. So stay tuned.
Oh, wow.
I don't know those.
I think a lot of them are applicable to boys, though, and young men. Nepotism is not as easy as it sounds, and you have a little kind of a mini paragraph after that explaining that if you hire your relative, whether it's a brother, sister, or whoever, that person has a lot to answer to, right? That person has to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to bring them along, because first of all, people are going to say, "Oh, she hired her sister, she hired her brother." But then, yes, that person has to work harder, stay longer, or they're under the gaze of everybody who's going to call foul. And
you
don't know that.
I want to share a little story with you, and I don't even know if I've shared this one with Rob and Becky. I went to my friends one time after my mother said something to me, and I said to them, "Do you think my mom knows what a lesbian is?" And they said, "Oh my God, why would you ask that question?" So I explained, and I'm going to explain to you now why I said that to my friends. We, as a family, moved from New York to the area where I'm in right now, in Florida, and I missed New York when I was 17. So I wanted to go back to New York. So I made this plan. As soon as I was done with high school, I was just going to move back to New York. And I sat at the kitchen table with my mom and dad, and they were a little bit nervous about me doing this. but they knew I made up my mind. And my mom said to me, Larry, do you know what a lesbian is? And I said, yes, I do. And I didn't want to go any farther. It was too uncomfortable. So that takes me back to the second part of my story, which is why I went to my friends and I said, do you think my mom knows what a lesbian is? I don't know what she meant, actually. I still, to this
you
day.
Never found out?
No, and she
Now
passed.
You got me curious.
Well, she passed away a couple of years ago, and I know I never asked her, but well, does she think it means bummed? What does she think it means?
Funny.
She's protecting you.
She was protecting me, but she wanted to make sure I knew what it was, and I had to
Exactly.
admit, I do. Did
wanted you
did
to
you
stay
find that
away.
magazine under my bed? I didn't know you knew it was there. This fun conversation, Becky. The book is really wonderful, and I think, just my point of view as a man, you're going to get a lot of guys who read it and get it. Becky Blades is who you would look up if you're looking for the book. The book is called Do Your Laundry or You'll Die Alone. It's a delightful book, and I have a copy of it. I'd like to give it away. If you would like the one I have, call me. 622-9622 is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. We got to do that, Becky. It's a sponsored phone number. So call me if you want the book. The rest of us have to go buy it. Becky, do you have a website?
We do. It's called laundryordie.com. Laundry or Die.
Okay.
I know these are hard-edged, but it gets the job done. And on it, which is fun, is a repository for your own advice. So one of the things we didn't say in the back of the book is 3 or 4 pages that parents can put their own advice if it's for your kids or your girlfriend. What I found is everybody's got their own keep your nose clean stories, and so if it's a personal gift, it's fun to pass those along. So put your advice on the website, and maybe we'll collect it all and fix the world.
What's going to be fun for you is when your grandchildren are reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
I should live so long, Larry.
Oh, you will. You will. I just looked at the picture in the back. You're a beautiful woman. You're still a young woman.
Humor is extremely important in life, and sometimes people forget about that. So you really are revitalizing that, because a person just can only be serious so long, and then they just have to laugh and they have to reflect and say, oh, yeah, this works and it is funny.
Oh, thank you, Robin. Thank you.
You're a delight to talk to, Becky. Thank you for being on the air. If you're ever in Central Florida, by the way, we have Epcot down here, and there is a mini Paris in here.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
There-
I have been there. I have eaten there. I love it. It's good.
Oh, I eat there too. Here's the advice: if you ever eat there, don't eat the thing under the fish, because it's not supposed to be eaten.
Oh,
They put the fish on a pedestal. I ate the fish. The fish was good. I said, "What's this under?" And I kept eating it. And the guy said, after I was done, something in French. And Robin said, "I think you weren't supposed to eat it." I don't know what it was.
Oh boy.
It didn't kill me. It didn't kill me, but I wouldn't advise it. I mean, it didn't taste good at all. So I just kept it. It must be French. I'll eat it.
Look at all the advice you get on the show.
LaundryOrDie.com is the website. Do Your Laundry or You'll Die Alone is the title of the book. Becky Blades is the author. She spells her name exactly as it sounds. What a wonderful interview. Becky, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Thank you, Robin and Larry. Bye-bye.
Really good. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. A hunt is underway for Robert Corchado, the man police say caused a deadly daycare center crash in Florida.
Corchado fled the scene in his Dodge Durango. About 2 hours later, that Durango was found abandoned in front of a house where police believe Corchado lived. He was spotted near Orlando International Airport.
Fox's Steve Harrigan. One of the students stabbed at a Pennsylvania high school needed more surgery overnight. Now